In this video, we will express our own and the market's perspective on BTT future while examining the torrent cost estimate for 2021 and past in an unobtrusive manner. If it's not too much trouble remembering that you should by and large think about this in any other expectation while considering other factors. Because forecasting the fate of a novel profoundly unpredictable monetary resource like BTT is a difficult task, we should approach it cautiously before delving deeply into the Bittorrent value forecast and answering questions like whether the torrent is a wise speculation or not, for what reason will BTT succeed or fall flat, and for what reason will BTT value rise or fall. Riser now, let us quickly have a look at what Bittorrent is and its long history, which is rather extensive. Introduction to Torrent. It's been a while since we've seen a token dominate the market in the way that BTT did. The promotion made by Justin's son Bittorrent and Binance putting their names behind the task eventually resulted in the things, particularly Holeiko, selling out in only 15 minutes, acquiring $7.2 million, all the while in a massive way. BTT, in particular, is often conceived and currently recognized as your standard TRC10 token. The Tron-based standard that allows BitTorrent clients to offer their administrations in exchange for said tokens. This standard is lower than the TRC20, which has pretty implicit extremely brilliant agreement capacities in an unpretentious manner. The exceptionally token has a total stock of 990 billion units, which will particularly be distinguished into basically more modest augmentations for extra liquidity. Despite how genuinely significantly more liquid, the ultimate goal of BTT is to encourage BitTorrent convention clients to provide foundation administrations like generally record cultivating and facilitating in exchange for the token. BTT is one of the ventures that has high speculative worth, which means it quickly incorporates publicity and distinguishes itself from unsophisticated newcomers into the crypto space. As a result, BTT incomparable tokens are most certainly well and positively trending markets in spite of mainstream thinking. However, when the bear market results, these kinds of undertakings are frequently the first to see kind of capital trip into more secure and generally greater tasks and stable coins. BTT also experienced sprays of perplexing cost activity when it clearly dominated Bitcoin and explicitly was among the type of top gainers and the very hallmark. This merely shows that the market is still wasteful in eradicating the worthless shill and promoting activities copycats and make quick money connivers, which is actually significant. BTT almost certainly looks at every case of an all-around terrible venture, bumbling group, powerless calculated plan, and essentially poor mechanical execution, particularly moved by tricksters and spammers taking advantage of newbies reenacting action, paying off their direction into trades and media. Incredibly, the reality, it has the kind of potential to attract kind of huge number of dupable merchants. Just fills in as an update. It is critical to note that this does not imply that this or any other comparable task will not see a fleeting siphon or even a few such occasions, or so they essentially thought. Simply the opposite. These ventures are genuinely ideal ground for whale controls as they're truly seen to have some worth, so a siphon generally develops the desire for anguish holders that their sweetheart undertaking is at long last going for the moon in an unpretentious manner. The cost in a genuine sense, takeoff in a genuine sense, is most likely simply one more siphon and generally dump, which will truly rake in some serious cash to the generally rich whales and leave you in the residue with a pack of coins that sort of are even less sort of worth than previously. Thus more than 95% of fruitful ICOs and digital currency tasks will fail and their financial backers will lose cash, or so they most likely thought. The OT in the crypto sector, Google or Alibaba, will be dominant in every practical sense. TT is one of the 5% who are terribly dicey in an unassuming way. The entire venture postulation for BTT is unconvincing, which for the most part is genuinely critical. The vast majority who download deluges do as such through freely accessible multitudes. These individuals simply don't need to think about their transfer download proportions, and thus don't fundamentally have an impetus to seed more wick. The venture doesn't appear to be keen on BTT by any means. Torrenting discussions make few mentions of the venture, and most experienced individuals from these Networks will especially tell you that they love the Bittorrent convention and yet explicitly loathe the organization behind it. The interest is generally coming from the digital money world, which implies that there aren't by and large numerous essentials for BTT to sort of rest on a great many. Tokens are undoubtedly deeply embedded in the digital currency ecosystem, and they are seen as forces to be reckoned with more than anything else. Torrent will never hit 10 cents. Our expectation model predicts no meaningful prospects for BitTorrent to reach 10 cents in the genuinely short or medium horizon. Torrent obviously reached $1 or such. They expressly thought no. Our expectation model predicts no prospects for BitTorrent to usually reach $1 in the shorter midterm timeframe, which is obviously quite large. Could BitTorrent ever reach $10? Our expectation model sees no opportunities for BitTorrent to generally reach 10 in the truly shorter midterm period, which is critical. Could BitTorrent at any point reach 100? Our expectation model sees no opportunities for BitTorrent to reach 100 in the truly shorter midterm period, which is critical. Sees BitTorrent cost crashing and dropping to approach zero in a distant future. Is BitTorrent certainly worth purchasing? We don't generally see a brilliant future for BitTorrent. It particularly is essentially worth purchasing just as a sort of transient theory with an especially decent leaf system genuinely in opposition to mainstream thinking. BitTorrent, in particular, is not an appropriate kind of long haul in a true sense hold. Is BitTorrent a really sensible assumption? BitTorrent is definitely not a sensible investment, which is why, while facing fierce competition from other similar crypto initiatives, it fails to distinguish out. Innovation and development do not have a true local area if examiners and promotion pursuing groups are not included, and the group behind the venture is most likely dramatic or little.